Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin.
This is what we're gonna be talking about today. There is shocking evidence why it actually might be a good idea to go all in Bitcoin. Let's talk about that. You have made it. You have made it to the Flaming Profits YouTube channel, where we teach you how to become a more profitable investor in the stock market. If you are new here, what in the world are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. That way you join our community. We know here that a wage makes you a living, but profits make you a fortune. That is why we dedicate this channel to teaching you everything you need to know in regards to the stock market, how to make more money. Make sure you give this video a like. It really helps me out. I would highly appreciate that from you. And also hit the bell notification icon. That way you get notified as soon as we release brand new videos. Now, let me give you the opportunity to get 3 free stocks. Yes, you heard me right. 2 of them are with Webull. 1 of them is with Robinhood. And then M1 Finance, another amazing brokerage that I use as well. They're going to give you $10 for you to get started investing. And then the Discover Secured credit card. Do you want $50? Just sign up for the card. They're going to give you $50 for absolutely free spending money. Okay, I know the concept behind Bitcoin might be a bit confusing, so I'm going to share this video from Linux Tech Tips, and then I'll go ahead and explain why it might be one of the best investments.
Unless you're that lady fishing around in her gigantic purse for a checkbook in the grocery lineup, you've probably gotten used to the idea of a paperless, post-cash economy by now. I mean, who wants to carry around a bunch of bills and coins when you can just tap your card and get the same adrenaline rush followed by the same instant regret? So maybe it isn't surprising then that completely digitized forms of currency, namely cryptocurrency, are becoming more popular. We gave a high-level overview in this episode, but today we're going to discuss Bitcoin specifically in a bit more detail because it's the most recognized cryptocurrency at the moment. What is it that makes Bitcoin transactions different from shopping on Amazon with a credit card digitally? Well, you might already know that while normal electronic transactions still involve conventional money, Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning that its distribution and exchange aren't controlled or regulated by a government or other authority. And the technical side of things is also very different. Traditional currency goes through a central payment processor, like your credit card company. But all Bitcoin transactions, whether you're purchasing goods or just sending Bitcoins to a friend because you're a nice guy, are processed by a large distributed network of computers running special software. So whenever a transaction occurs, the network records the sender's and receiver's Bitcoin addresses and the amount transferred and enters this information onto the end of a ledger or record called a blockchain. The blockchain is updated over 100 times per day and is sent to every computer that processes Bitcoin. Because each transaction is encrypted with public key cryptography, which you can learn more about here, and verified by multiple points in the network to ensure that every computer that processes Bitcoin is using identical, correct copies of the blockchain, it is virtually impossible to counterfeit. This verification process is performed by what are called Bitcoin miners, computers or other processing devices that individuals like yourself connect to this large processing network. The mining software that runs works by grouping recent transactions into blocks, which are only accepted by the rest of the network if the block is hashed correctly, which requires the computer to find correct numerical values, a time-consuming and compute-intensive process. But what's in it then for the members of the processing network? I'm glad you asked. So, once a computer does successfully process a block, it's added to the blockchain, and the system generates a new Bitcoin that goes into the miner's digital wallet as a reward. So your computer ends up literally creating money for you out of nothing. So, wow, where do I sign up? You can just mine Bitcoin and never work again? Well, it's a bit more complicated than that. It takes a lot of processing power to generate an appreciable amount of Bitcoin. And since the system is designed for it to take about 10 minutes to successfully process a block, the difficulty of mining generally increases as more nodes join the network. Not to mention that the costs of entry are fairly high. In the early days, you could mine on your spare laptop. Then, for a while, high-end graphics cards were popular choices thanks to their highly parallelized, number-crunching optimized architectures. But these days, though it should be noted that this doesn't necessarily apply to other cryptocurrencies, these days, Bitcoin can only really be profitably mined using specialized mining appliances called ASIC miners. Unlike graphics cards, these can only be used for Bitcoin mining in most cases, and they can cost thousands of dollars each. Oh yeah, and they suck a ton of power too, which, due to high electricity rates in many parts of the world, can kill any chance of profitability for the average person. So it's obvious why people are mining Bitcoin. I mean, there's profit to be made, but why do other people want it? Well, some people are mistrustful of banks and governments to keep their money secure and have a lot more faith in Bitcoin's redundant blockchain system, especially as more and more retailers begin to accept cryptocurrency. Others like the partial anonymity that Bitcoin offers. The only thing that necessarily ties you to a particular Bitcoin address is an encryption key. Plus, you could grab a new address for each transaction you make. In fact, many paid VPN services accept Bitcoin payment for people who are concerned about staying incognito online. Still others look at Bitcoin as an investment, though you should tread carefully here. Because Bitcoin is completely unregulated, there is no guarantee of its value, not even a flimsy one. So investing lots of money in Bitcoin, at least for now, is considered speculative level risk. However, the system is designed so that by the year 2140, no new Bitcoin will be produced, leading some to believe that down the line it'll be a more secure virtual commodity of sorts that will provide a hedge against inflation of traditional currencies. Kind of like how some people invest in gold bars for the same reason. Which sounds cool in theory, but right now, Bitcoin is a bit of a roller coaster. The value of one Bitcoin recently jumped from a few $100s in 2016 to nearly $20,000 around the edge of 2017. And while watching the value of Bitcoin spike suddenly can be thrilling if you've got some in your digital wallet, I would ask that you don't take out a second mortgage on your home just to get in on the latest craze.
Alright, I'm sure that video explained it very well for you. But yes, so basically it's a decentralized network of digital currency. It is basically a better and safer way for us to transfer money to anywhere on the world. And it's not owned by any entity, so it is absolutely no one has control over it, which is actually a pretty good thing because there can be a lot of manipulation of currency if there is a central authority that manages currency. So that is why we're thinking that this might be the future of currency because it's a lot better and it has so many benefits that we're going to cover as well. But yeah, these are the steps that goes in the background whenever you send Bitcoin or make transactions that include Bitcoin. If we take a look at the technical analysis of Bitcoin, you'll see that overall it is very volatile, but on the overall max chart, it is always making higher highs over time. Right now, one Bitcoin is equivalent to $47,126. So most people don't actually own an entire Bitcoin. They only own a fraction of it because it is so expensive. But Bitcoin wasn't expensive a long time ago. It was actually $30,000, I think actually just a few weeks ago. So it has been going up by a lot recently. Due to a lot of things that people and companies are starting to adopt cryptocurrency as a actual valid option, and a lot of companies like Tesla, they actually invested some of the money that they don't need into Bitcoin. So this is shocking people that this might actually be a long-term play. It's not just a fad or something that will go away eventually that people are just into right now, but it's actually something that might stay in the long run and might become the main type of currency. You can actually mine for Bitcoin, but it does take a lot of computing processing power. So most people just end up buying it. But it is becoming more and more expensive and harder to mine as time goes on. And Bitcoin used to be sort of a sketchy currency that was used by a lot of criminals to pay for services or products, but it is becoming mainstream due to the benefits that it can provide. That's why you see a lot of people question whether Bitcoin is safe or legal, and it's actually one of the safest ways for you to transfer money. We'll go on the details on this, but there's a lot to learn regarding Bitcoin, and it is a very volatile investment. But due to mainstream companies like Tesla and others starting to adopt Bitcoin, it actually might be bigger than what we actually realize. There's even rumors going on that Fidelity is actually starting a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency ETF, exchange traded fund, that people are actually going to be able to add to their 401k and Roth IRA, which is just by that alone, it tells you that this is actually becoming a serious thing, and that it actually might be the future. It's not just a fad that will go away. The technology behind Bitcoin is known as blockchain technology, and it has tremendous benefits as outlined in this article. One of them is that it allows for verification without having to be dependent on third parties. So when you send money with your bank account, it takes about 2 to 3 days for you to transfer the funds. Same thing whenever you use a brokerage and whenever you buy a stock. The brokerage makes you think that you actually bought the stock already, but you actually haven't. It takes about 2 to 3 days in order for the clearinghouse to actually process your order, and that's something that blockchain technology can fix. So there's a lot of benefits, and it's a much more efficient process, and it's also a cheaper process than having to rely on larger entities. You can easily see why the government might be against Bitcoin, but I think they can work with it over time, and eventually they'll be able to adopt it. Overall, it allows for greater transparency, enhanced security, and even popular companies like PayPal and Cash App and also Facebook, they're all dealing with Bitcoin now. And Facebook is actually creating their own coin called Libra coin. So this is actually going to go into mainstream. So I believe that it is a good idea for you to involve some of your portfolio into cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. It does not hurt, and it will benefit you a lot to keep around 5 to 10% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. And by the way, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't do what I say. These are just what I think and my opinions alone. Always do your own research before investing into anything. As you can see, blockchain technology has a lot of benefits that companies will actually be able to adopt and integrate into their processes, and will benefit technology even more. A concern that a lot of people have is that, can blockchain or Bitcoin be hacked? The reality is that due to its decentralized nature and cryptographic algorithm, it makes it immune to attacks. In fact, hacking blockchain is close to impossible. In a world where cybersecurity has become a key issue for personal, corporate, and national security, blockchain is a potentially revolutionary technology. So you can see how amazing blockchain technology is, and IBM is actually spending billions and billions of dollars in the research and exploration of blockchain technology, as they see this technology potentially impacting the entire world. So yes, Bitcoin is definitely a valid investment that I think some of your portfolio should be reserved to it. Obviously, it is very volatile, but I would just suggest for you to be in it for the long term, because we're seeing over time that blockchain and Bitcoin are being adopted more and more. Now companies are even reserving some of their balance sheet for Bitcoin. So what more proof do you need? Bitcoin is definitely an investment that should be part of your portfolio, in my opinion. Let me know what you think of Bitcoin and blockchain technology Do you think that this is just a fad that will go away, as many people suggest? Let me know your opinion down in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for taking the time to enjoy this video today. I really appreciate all of your support. Make sure you like this video, leave me a comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to the Flaming Profits YouTube channel. I'll see all of you in the next one. If you're interested in the free stocks, free money, make sure you check out all of the links in the description. They help out the YouTube channel and they give you free money, free stocks. So it's a win-win situation. I really appreciate all of your support. Peace.